Hey everyone, how's it going? Hope you've been well. Today we're going to be doing a long-term test review on these Arlo Pro 4 cameras. It was about 8 months ago when I got these and I installed them and I made a video. That video was the unboxing, initial review, installation type video of these. And today, like I said, we're going to be pulling them down from the trees that I put them on, taking a look at them, and doing a bit of a review of my past 8 months of experience with these cameras. So let's get started. I'm not a super techie expert. I was just interested in getting some cameras to help monitor the house, and these were recommended by a friend. Not sponsored, not receiving any money, so these are just honest, average consumer opinions. So just for awareness, once again, 3 cameras. They're really difficult to see, but one is on the tree right there. Another is on a tree over in that direction, pointing at the house again. This is the third one. It's right here up on this tree, and we're right in front of the house right now. So this camera at the top of, not the top of the tree, but on the tree right there, is the most actively used camera. And with that being said, this camera is currently out of batteries. And why I've been waiting 8 months to do this review is because I was waiting to see how long the cameras took to run out of batteries. Now, with that being said, the most actively used camera, the one right at the front of the house right here, the battery life on this camera lasted 5 months. Arlo says 6 months. That's what they advertise the battery life for these Pro 4 cameras to be. We're here in Vermont, and the cameras had to endure a very harsh winter of temperatures hovering around 0 degrees Fahrenheit. So Arlo says 6 months of battery life in ideal conditions. So for a camera that lasted 5 months, I wouldn't exactly call the Vermont weather ideal conditions. So it did all right. This camera back here on the tree right over there, we're here in the back of the house. So that camera on the tree right there was the second most used camera. It's currently at 14% battery life. It was used a little bit less capturing videos and such because we're in the back of the house here and there's just less in and out through the door, no cars going in and out of the driveway and things like that. And then the camera that was used the least is down there on that tree pointing towards the house. That is at 26% battery. So yeah, it's still got a quarter pretty much of battery life left after 8 months. I put these things up on the trees 8 months ago and haven't touched them since. So let's go get the ladder and pull them down and see how they held up. Well, everyone, here are the cameras after 8 months of wind, rain, ice, snow treatment from the great outdoors. I can't say I'm surprised they held up well. I mean, when I installed them initially, I felt like they were pretty sturdy. I'll open one of them up to see the interior, see if there's any sign of water intrusion or anything like that. So push that button. Huh. Looks brand new. No sign of any bugs. Water. Yeah, it's completely dry. No sign of any sort of water intrusion. Nothing getting inside. Pretty impressive. I'm going to throw these cameras inside to charge up so that I can put them back up on the trees for the next 8 months. And while they're charging, let's talk about my experience with the Arlo software. Pulling up the Arlo app here. It's gone through a couple of updates since I made my last video, but for the most part it's looks about the same and it's pretty straightforward. I think my biggest gripe about the app itself is, and I don't know if it's the fact that I just didn't use it enough to get comfortable with it, but it seems like the settings for your individual cameras, it seems like there's too many clicks to get to some basic things. If I wanted to adjust the sensitivity, there's a few additional clicks that I would need to do instead of just, sliding a little scale on the main screen or something like that. So the app I think is fine. Truthfully, there's nothing special about it, but there's nothing horribly wrong with it. Well, clearly I was boring Wilbur with my tech talk about the app. So let's talk about something a little more interesting, and we'll talk about issues that I've had with these Arlo Pro 4 cameras. There's really been 4 main issues, and kind of starting from the smallest issue to the largest issue. The smallest issue being that the cameras shut off once or twice due to cold temperatures. I think it has something to do with the batteries, but when the temperatures got down to that 0 degrees Fahrenheit area, I would look on the app and the screen would be black and it would say something along the lines of like camera has been shut off or something like that. So the camera turned off, and the first time I saw it I was wondering if it would come back online, and it did, and it came back with about the same amount of battery life that it had when it kind of went into that shutdown mode. So that's a small issue in my book, because I understand that batteries don't have the best track record in cold temperatures. So it's understandable that when temperatures get down that low, the cameras are going to have a hard time. So that was one issue. Another issue was the fact that one of the cameras, about a month after installing the entire system back in November, so it was around December time frame, we were gone, of course, because it always happens when you actually want to use them. So we were gone, and one of the cameras just randomly disconnected from the entire system. So I don't know what caused it. I don't know why it did it, but the camera completely disconnected. I couldn't access it, and I needed to, when we got back eventually, I needed to take the camera down and manually synchronize it to the system again. So that was a little frustrating, and that was an issue that I had with the system. But after I resynchronized it for the rest of the 7 months, I never had that issue again. So that was just a one-time thing. Third issue, once again slightly rising on the levels of concern, was that, and this is a motion detection type issue. I suppose I could adjust the level of sensitivity, but I did kind of dabble around with that and it didn't seem to help. I don't know if it's an Arlo issue or just a general technology issue, but this is the problem. It seems that the sensitivity is such that it records, but only after what you want to see. So for example, we have a package delivered to our house and they leave it on the front doorstep, and it'll capture the package being there, but it doesn't actually capture the person putting the package there. So that's one example. It gets things sometimes and it misses things other times. So that's a little frustration, especially when you have these motion sensing cameras and sometimes the motion doesn't properly sense. So that's a little bit of a frustration. So the last and most frustrating issue for me was the issue regarding Arlo Smart and these cameras. So Arlo Smart is Arlo's paid for subscription service to access additional features for these cameras. With the Arlo Pro 4, Arlo no longer offers free cloud storage, and that was pretty much in the very fine print of these cameras, and that was my fault for not doing the research enough. With every prior Arlo camera model, they offered 10 days of cloud backup, essentially, where anything that was recorded on your camera was saved for 10 days. You could go on your camera, you could download the footage. So now, with these cameras, unless you do not have a $10 per month subscription for Arlo Smart, it's essentially impossible to record any footage. So all you can really use these cameras, if you don't pay a monthly subscription, all you can use these cameras for is for real-time video footage, no recording at all. It's just, oh, I wonder what's going on at the house. And you push play and you see what's happening real time. So for me, that was my biggest frustration, because like I said, in every previous Arlo camera, they offered that service, and then they kind of silently took it away with these Arlo Pro 4s. So I felt a little frustrated, because I got these with the intent of using them as a recording device, only to figure out that that's a service that you have to pay for, and it's an additional fee per month, $120 extra per year that I'm going to need to pay. I know Arlo has sales in Arlo Smart where they can cut you a deal, but still, it just feels kind of like I was wronged a little bit, because I was told one thing and kind of delivered another thing. So that's my biggest frustration. Wilbur, he agrees. Oh, he's out of here. Wilbur has moved over there because he thinks I'm talking too much. It's probably true. So, to summarize everything into a simple pros and cons list of these cameras, on the pros, I would say durability, because they held up very well in these harsh conditions. I would say reliability, because with the exception of the one time that they turned off due to the cold and the one time that the camera randomly disconnected, over a period of 8 months, these cameras were relatively reliable, and I was able to check on the house whenever I wanted to. So durability, reliability, and at the very bottom of the pros list, I would say battery life, because for such a small device in harsh conditions, I think they did pretty well with battery, considering one that was pretty actively used lasted for 5 months, and the other two that were a little bit less actively used lasted for 8+ months on a single charge. Was pretty good. On the cons list, I would put battery life on the cons as well, just because, Arlo said 6 and one lasted 5. So that's at the very bottom of the cons list too. But the biggest con, if you couldn't tell already, in my opinion, was kind of the Arlo Smart debacle for me. Just because I feel like I was kind of betrayed by Arlo, and they kind of snuck it in there like, oh yeah, you got to pay an extra $120 a year to use these things. So that was pretty frustrating. I still haven't bit the bullet and gotten it. Maybe I will if they give me a good sale, but we'll see. So that's for you guys to decide if you're willing to buy the cameras for a pretty hefty price, plus pay the monthly subscription fee to utilize the other services, is something that you'd have to decide. Well, everyone, thanks so much for watching. I really hope you enjoyed it, and hope you got some information that'll help you decide whether the Arlo Pro 4s are right for you. We got someone to say hello. Let's see. Ah. He's been waiting here the whole time. So thanks again for watching. Wilbur and I say hello and goodbye. And until next time, we'll see you later. Take care, everyone.